Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be going through the update 4.5.0 patch notes for the finals. So Halloween is here, and with it comes a whole lot of new skins, a new kind of like spin the wheel event type thing for collecting those skins, and also a new World Tour event that will be going live tomorrow at the time this video is going to be released. And in the background, I'm going to be showing all of the rewards, both from the spin the wheel kind of event thing, which I'll talk about more in a second, and also from the store, which you can just buy regularly. So, Halloween is here. We've got an all-new event with 27 collectible rewards and an explosive addition to the World Tour maps starting tomorrow, sponsored by Holto, who reminds you to carve your pumpkins with extreme caution. For today, join the Treat Hunt Collection event. Feeling dizzy, contestant? It might be the copious amounts of Osbooze flavored Halloween candy you've been eating, or it could be our brand new feature, the Wheel. The reward wheel is something we've never seen before in the finals. We realized that we could not be the world's greatest game show without a flashy wheel of amazing prizes. This Halloween, instead of adding all of these amazing cosmetics to the store, we've added them to the reward wheel. In order to spin the wheel and win something, you must have a ticket, and you can earn up to 3 tickets per day by completing daily contracts. There's an equal chance of winning every item, and if there's a specific item you want from the wheel, then you can buy it using either VRs or multi-bucks, depending on the item. No luck needed. If you spend a ticket on a spin and wind up on a reward you already have, you'll get some VRs back, so every spin is a win. If you collect all rewards featured on the wheel, you'll get the grand prize, the Stealth Spectre bundle, which is sure to make you stand out in the arena. The event goes live right now, and will be live for 2 full weeks, so make sure you hop in right now, work your way through these contracts, and spin that wheel. Do you know what makes this Halloween event extra scary? We've never done anything like this before. We want to keep finding new ways to reward and amuse you while keeping the game new and fun. Because this is so new, we would love your feedback on this event, so when it's over, we'll ask you to fill out a short survey about your experience. In this update, the store is spookier than ever. If you're still unsure about what to dress up as for Halloween, the Seize the Day bundle has you covered. It even comes with a pirate's booty worth of multi-bucks. For those of you fighting for the top 500 this week, we are introducing Ruby level to the leaderboards. Check out this week's balance changes and a longer dev note on how we approach balance changes this season. And then we come to the balancing changes, which is probably what everyone is waiting for. So, a note on balance changes. Our approach to balancing the game has evolved since the first season of the finals. In the beginning, we made a lot of changes because the game was brand new, and we suddenly had a constant flow of players to provide feedback, telemetry, and information that we could use to calibrate and experiment with quickly. So for anyone that doesn't know, this was why stuff was kind of like nerfed much faster in the betas and in season 1, more so than it has been since. But doing things so quickly sometimes, and actually pretty frequently, was just the wrong decision, because a lot of the time the community doesn't really know what they're talking about. So the devs here are saying, instead of, you know, just listening to the community, they're just listening to their own data and looking at their own data, and then being more cautious with what they nerf and what they buff. As time marches on and we start to see this game reach a more stable state, we want to fall into a more sustainable and reliable rhythm that gives us time to plan larger and more meaningful shifts in balance based on how we see the community engage with the meta. As such, our intent is to do those larger meta-altering balance passes at, I'm assuming that's supposed to say patches, but it does say passes, at the start of each new season, where we can introduce new strategies and ways to play. Then, as needed, we'll perform another patch halfway through each season, aimed at polishing the current meta and addressing major feedback points from our core without fully resetting the meta and causing confusion. Between these two major balance passes, maybe it's supposed to be passes, I don't know, we'll only perform smaller nudges to the balance that aim to smooth out the current experience when absolutely necessary. We're hopeful this approach will lead to a smoother and clearer experience for you and help set better expectations regarding the weekly game updates while being kinder to our players and to our team. And with that, now we get into the actual weapon balance, and the Model 1887 has finally been nerfed. It is finally done, it's finally here, but is it enough is the question. So, Model 1887. increased inner pellet radius from 0.5 to 0.65, making the weapon less accurate at longer ranges. Increased outer pellet radius from 1.3 to 1.7, making the weapon less accurate at longer ranges, and decreased damage fall-off multiplier from 65% to 60%, causing the weapon to do less damage at range. So, all in all, just a nerf to the range without like a base damage nerf or anything like that. The inner pellet radius has been increased, outer pellet radius has been increased, and then the damage fall off has been decreased. So it's got like 3 nerfs for both of those respective things. The dev note here is one way we investigate the balance of weapons is to look at effectiveness in gameplay, i.e. stats like damage, kill rates, headshot rates, and accuracy, in addition to stats like usage and win rates. Looking at this data alone, the Model 1887 is good, but not exceptional when it comes to effectiveness during play. However, we've seen a large uptick in usage, mostly in a higher skill tiers, which has led to the gun being very prevalent in matches and leading to a somewhat stale meta. This nudge to the effective range will hopefully disrupt this trend without making the weapon weaker than its nearest competitors when it comes to effectiveness, i.e. the AKM, FAMAS, and the Pike 5.56. Next up is the XP54. Increased damage fall-off start distance from 15 meters to 20 meters, making the weapon more impactful at range. Increased damage fall-off end distance from 25 meters to 30 meters, making the weapon more impactful at range, and decreased damage fall-off multiplier from 65% to 62%. So, this is basically just buffed. It's got a pretty significant buff, I would say. It's not like huge, but it's something. Content and bug fixes contracts. Added new Halloween contracts as part of the Treat Hunt event. Fixed an issue where the damage values earned on contracts could be broken, showing large negative scores. Cloaking device. Fixed an issue introduced in 4.4 that caused refraction effects like cloaking and parts of the dematerialize effect to not be visible when the effect quality is set to medium. Dematerializer. Fixed an issue where environmental kills were not detected when the dematerialized floor was an air vent or other small prop. UI, fix an issue where players might not be able to equip an item immediately after purchasing it. Fixed various issues where player outlines could have the wrong color. Fix an occasional issue where new players could become stuck in the account linking flow, and fix an issue where the contract screen would unlock at the wrong time for new players during the first time user experience. For sponsors, increase the number of fans that can be earned by 50% to 100%, so it's been doubled depending on the action type, and disable the ability to earn fans with the healing beam. The dev note here is we've disabled the earning of fans via the healing beam as it was too easy for players to exploit this mechanic to farm fans at the cost of good competitive matches. We only want fans to be earnable for actions that can be completed regardless of the contestant setup. And then for VRs, increase the VR cap from 3,000 to 5,000, so you can now have 5,000 instead of 3,000 VRs. And alternate scopes, fix an issue where weapons with an attached sight could have a skewed pose when aiming down sights, causing the sight to be misaligned with where the weapon is aimed. So that was a pretty big bug that was going around on Discord and Reddit, but that has now been fixed, at least supposedly. So, the model has been nerfed and the XP has been buffed. It's not a very significant buff to the model, and it's not a super significant buff to the XP54. I think the model is still going to be meta. I think people are still going to be complaining about it, because the problem isn't like it's got a super fast time to kill, or it's like super good reload speed or super good mag size or anything like that. The reload sucks and the mag size isn't great. The reason people are using the model is because you point the gun and the gun shoots where you're pointing. And if every other gun in the game did this, people would just be using the AKM and the FAMAS and the Pike and all of that kind of stuff. People don't like shooting things that doesn't go where your reticle is, and unfortunately there are multiple guns that just unfortunately do that in game. I'm not going to talk about that so much in this video though, because I've got some upcoming videos that's going to dive a little bit more into that in more depth and more concisely. But there are the patch notes. Nerf to model, I don't think it's going to be a significant nerf. I think it's still going to be the meta, but you can probably get away with using the AKM more so now. It just means that the model isn't going to function as well as a shotgun in the medium to longer ranges. Like, at the medium to longer ranges before, you could probably still two-shot a light, and now I think it's probably going to take like 3 or 4 shots to kill a light from the same ranges. When you start getting into like, I don't know, like 20, 30 meters or something like that. Whereas before, I don't think that was really a thing. So I think it's good to nerf it. I mean, I would have much rather just see everything else get buffed, but you know, obviously that takes a lot more effort. But I think the model's still going to feel very good to use. You point the gun's still gonna shoot, and even though it's got like a wider spread, which is basically a nerf because it's, you know, harder to hit someone with all the pellets, I think it's still gonna feel good to use, because even at the longer ranges, you're gonna be hitting one of those pellets on the person, you're still gonna be getting that hit marker, so you're still gonna be getting feedback like, oh, okay, I hit that shot, that feels good, I'm gonna keep using this weapon, instead of just like completely missing shots or something. So interesting nerf. We'll have to see how it plays out. I'm pretty sure it's still going to be meta. I don't think it's going to be enough to dethrone it. I think a lot of people are still going to be using AKM and FMAS and Pike though, because they're just a little bit more forgiving, and they're all very solid too. So I think the same people that were using those before are still going to use those before, and I think the same people that were using the model before are still just going to be using the model. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy change there. And as for the XP, you might see some more use out of this, but I feel like it's probably going to need some type of a damage buff for it to replace the M11, or a fire rate buff, or something done to it, because right now the M11 is pretty good for the light. So there you go. There's all the patch notes in the background. I'm showing all of this stuff that you can get in-game and in the store and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell.